Hey guys, today I'll tie a Pike streamer with you, and a really simple streamer, and it's actually based on two materials, and this is Nayat and Bucktail, and we also tie a tail from Holo in the back just to give it a little bit of action, and it really worked well for me the last couple of days, especially in the color black. But you can tie it, of course, in every color that you like. Also, red hat is really good, and birch colors always work as well. So you just start with tying on the tail, and when I use light color for the body material of the streamer, I like to use also a light tail, but it's which fits to the color, but it's just a question of taste. So we just start to tie the tail on a shank, and then we'll start to tie the streamer. So I'm tying here with a GSP thread. It's a GSP 100, as I want to keep the head a little bit thinner. And then we just tie in the tail, really simple. Oh, can happen. Let's get that back into the vise. So like that, really simple. Just make it hot in it. Get a little bit of glue. Well, there's a bit of glue. It's nearly empty, so it just took a while. And just let it lying on the side so it's not running back into it. So a few wraps through the white glue. And then just make a knot in it. Cut the thread and just put it aside for later. So we're tying the streamer on a Universal Predator X. I like that. Tie it in size 6.0 or 4.0. This is a 6.0. Finally got new partridge hooks, so we can tie now again on partridge hooks. So the trick of the streamers, we only tie really in the beginning here. Only 2 layers, Bucktail Nayat. That's it. And we use not to Kinky and 45 LB to form the tail, or the loop for the tail, and we're using some 6mm beads on the wire. So really easy, and yeah, it's a really light streamer. So I'm not fishing it with a stinger. Sometimes I like stingers when I have really big streamers, but when I have only small streamers, and I don't like to tie a stinger into it, as the possibility of harming the fish is way bigger with a second hook. If he has 2 hooks in his mouth, it's always more difficult to get it out. And if I have a really light fly, I don't need a stinger. Usually a pike inhales the whole fly. But of course, when I'm fishing waters which are under really high fishing pressure, and the pikes keep on biting onto the tail, then the stinger is always a good solution. But yeah, so we take the titanium. It's probably 30 centimeters long. And then we fold it in half and put some beads on, and we start tying on the shank of the hook with a GSP 100. The color doesn't matter, because we are just hiding the thread later anyway in the head. And I'll just take a little bit of glue to secure the thread a bit on the shank and to give it a little bit more friction as I'm tying the wire on it. doesn't have to be much, just a bit. And then we can decide on which lengths we want to have the tail. I like it around this size. I think it's a decent size for pike streamer. And we also just cut the wire here. So now it's probably 12 centimeters one direction. As there's no stinger in, we don't have to make sure that the wire is really holding tight onto the hook shank, as the pike is not able to put any pressure on it. Something like that. And then we should take our bucktail and we take it from the lower region of the bucktail so it rises a little bit more. Remove as always the underfur, just get it out, the short fibers. And then we spin our bobbin counterclockwise and remove also a bit of the glue here so the fibers are not sticking there. And just go around to this position and just do 2-3 loose wraps. I can still flare the bucktail with the fingers around the hook and distribute it around the hook shank, and then by pulling it tight it will raise quite nicely. And then we do, with keeping the pressure up, a few good wraps. And of course you can tie the you can cut the hairs here, but I'm just tying them down. It's not really mattering for this fly, and I just don't want to make a big mess, and it's just easier. So now we take our Nayat. It's a little bit curly in the end, it's just from storage. You can iron it, it's getting straight again if you want to, but it doesn't matter. In the water it will get straight anyway again. So taking the Nayat, taking a cat brush, brushing the underfur out. Don't need it here for that fly, we'll keep it really light and simple. And then it's just tying it in reverse. Make sure it's distributed around the whole hook. You can do that by just placing it onto the hook and going with a loose wrap around, and then the Nayat is flaring around the hook. And then you can just tighten it with a few strong wraps. And I just like to brush it back. And I can catch it with my fingers, easy as that. And just tie a few wraps on top, like that. And then you see it's kind of covering all the titanium wire till the part where we place the tail in later. And now we repeat this step once more, and the fly is already finished, so it's a really easy fly, but really effective. Got a lot of good pikes on it recently. Nice one in FFN. It's Rome, was a really nice pike. So we're just repeating this step again. Oh, I'm actually not tying it in reverse here, just usual, as it's rising really nicely. Just go around it loosely, and now we just distribute the fibers again, just around the hook. It's a little bit more difficult now because of the Nayat section, but you can just let your thread hang down and just place it how you want it, and then pull it tight. Always be careful with the GSP thread. If you pull it too tight, you can also cut through the bucktail, and then of course the bucktail is gone. So just be a little bit careful with that. Otherwise you can use a bigger thread, like a 200 GSP for example, and when you use the 200 you can put more pressure on the thread, but the diameter is wider, so you don't putting that much force onto the bucktail itself, and you're not running the risk of cutting through the material. So now we've taken a clumps of Nayat again, and it's just the same step. Just tying it in. Remove the underfur, so I don't want it, otherwise the fly is soaking in too much water. Now just going with a loose wrap, you can see it here now around it, and then I have distributed it all around the hook, and then I'm going now just back to the spot where I tied in the bucktail, like that, and then just brush it back, and that's already it. And we make a hat and the fly is finished. Really effective fly, you can tie it in a few minutes, really easy tying. And you get through the reversing of the Nayat and tying it against the bucktail, you get quite a good volume of the fly, so you're pushing a little bit of water as well without much effort. And for the head, we're using of course the Monsterdub, in this case only red, as it's becoming a red head. Don't use too much, you want the fly to sink quickly, so it's a little bit jigging. That's why you also use the Universal Predator X hook. It's a bit thicker wired, so it gets a nice jigging action. And now we can just really do the same with the Nayat, just with a loose wrap, go around it, and then you kind of distribute your material around the hook already without having to worry about it much. And then what you can do now is just brushing out the head section a bit, and then you see really quickly where you have to put some more material in to get a even distribution around the head section. So we just take a tiny bit more, and you see here's a little bit more material needed, so just 2 wraps, get it around there, and there's a little cap as well, so we just need a really tiny bit, and just place it in here, and then that looks evenly distributed. And then we go with the thread all the way to the hook eye now. Now we use our glue, just put some glue onto the thread, it's not much more needed, and then you can just go around it, and the glue will just prevent everything from opening up again, and then we can cut the thread. The fly is nearly finished already, so you just brush back the head material now to form the head. Get everything into position. Don't worry about it, just brush it really quite a bit. There's a little bit of material then going off the head section, but it doesn't matter really, but it gives you a nice distribution, and makes sure that it's moving back from the hook eye. Like that. And what we do then is I'm using tear mender, just give it a little shake. And we use a little bit just going in here, not too much. You see it like that. I'll make sure it's going through the material, so the hook is connected, the material is connected with the hook shank. Like that. And then we can place our eyes on top of it. So I'm using these eyes here, 12mm, 3D eyes, quite natural look, silverish brownish. I take my dubbing needle and my E6000, if I can open it. and just place the eye onto the dubbing needle. I try to make it here so you can see it. And I place it here against the hook eye, so it's getting clean, and moving the needle back in fiber direction, like that. And I do the same thing on the other side. Like that. And I'm using the eye tool and just make sure the eye is tight, and putting on the tail. And I'll show you another fly I'll cut in here, which is already finished, and I filmed it already. But I made a mistake in the movie and cut off the head. But so yeah, you'll see that now. And this is a really effective fly. Thanks for watching. I also like to fish them with the jumbo wiggle tails, with the bigger ones. But yeah, just give it a try. Try one of these and check them out. Thanks for watching.